The Vice President has observed the NPP government in 3 years has slowed Ghana's debt accumulation rate. He highlighted under the NDC's 8 years, Ghana's debt stock increased by 267%, but under the NPP, it has increased by only 79%. The country's debt stood at 214 billion cedis in November 2019.
Total public debt increased to 214 billion cedis in November 2019 from 122 billion in 2016, representing 62.2% of GDP. Minus the 13 billion cedis so far from the banking sector cleanup, the country's debt level would be 203 billion cedis, translating into 51.9% of GDP. The Vice President asserted Ghana's debt rate accumulation has slowed.
Ghana's debt stock increased by 267% between 2008 and 2012. Ghana's debt stock increased by 267% between 2012 and 2016. Ghana's debt stock increased by another 243%. But between 2016 and 2019, the increase has been by 79%. So there's a big difference.
The International Monetary Fund has warned that Ghana's risk of debt distress classification is still high. Senior economist at Data Bank, Courage Mate, acknowledged Ghana's debt profile is slowing, but expressed worry about further borrowing.
What we are seeing impacting the debt portfolio is actually as a result of contingent liabilities or legacy debts. Now, these were normally off-balance sheet liabilities, talking about energy sector debts and financial sector cleanup costs, which are creeping onto the state balance sheet and now creating borrowing pressure. And as a result of this, it is adding to the debt build-up, and then this becomes a concern.
Director of Business Operations at Dilex Finance, Joe Jackson, was concerned about the country's debt servicing ability.
What is the cost of this borrowing? What about the cost of servicing that debt? The US spends less than 8% to service its debt, total debt, even though it's over 100% of its GDP. We are spending up to 40% of all our revenue, including grants, servicing our debt.
At the town hall meeting in Kumasi, the Vice President indicated fiscal deficit on cash basis has declined to 3.8% in 2018, which is 0.8% in 2019, from 6.6% of rebased GDP in 2016, below the fiscal rule of 5%.